Picture the massive video wall in a Vegas sports book or, a corporate campus with like 500 perfectly synchronized TVs showing a live keynote.
Oh yeah, it's quite a sight.
Right. And you'd probably assume the brain running all of that routing is this massive roaring supercomputer. But today's deep dive is looking at the reality behind those networks. We're actually examining a 1.7-inch tall box that costs under $5,000, but, well, it effectively runs the entire show.
Yeah, we're talking about the ZeeVee ZyPer Management Platform ProServer, or ZMPPROSERVER for short.
Catchy name.
I know, right? But it's an enterprise-grade appliance with a very specific mission, serving as the ultimate routing matrix for these massive AV-over-IP networks.
And to understand what a video distribution brain actually does, we should probably clarify how these modern networks operate, right? Because we aren't running hundreds of heavy HDMI cables through the walls anymore.
Oh, definitely not.
The source material we're looking at today talks heavily about managing ZeeVee's hardware, specifically their encoders and decoders, like the ZyPer 4K.
Right. So think of an encoder as a translator. It takes a video source, like, say, a cable box, and it turns it into network data packets.
Okay.
Then a decoder sits behind the TV and turns those data packets back into a video feed. This ProServer is just the central hub telling all those packets exactly where they need to go.
So it's essentially an air traffic control tower.
Exactly.
The tower itself isn't physically carrying the passengers, or in this case, it's not pushing the heavy 4K video files through its own processor. It's just, precisely coordinating thousands of planes over the network so they get to the right runway without crashing.
That is the exact mechanism at play here. And because it's managing the routing matrix rather than processing the heavy video payload itself, it operates with incredible efficiency.
Right.
Which really brings us to the most aggressive claim on this spec sheet. It supports unlimited endpoints.
Unlimited. Wait, saying unlimited endpoints is a huge claim for a 1RU, a one-rack unit appliance. Yeah. I mean, usually you see servers with a hard cap, right?
Yeah, mostly.
You buy a management server that tells you it can handle exactly 50 displays.
Right, and what's fascinating here is that hard cap becomes a massive financial liability for an IT director.
Oh, I bet.
The moment a business expands and needs to add screen number 51, you're forced to buy an entirely new management server. By supporting an unlimited number of endpoints, this single device essentially future-proofs the entire network. You just keep adding displays.
But to back up a claim of unlimited routing, you can't just run off-the-shelf PC hardware. I mean, even as just an air traffic controller, keeping track of thousands of 4K network feeds requires some serious architecture.
It absolutely does. Under the hood, this appliance is running an Intel Xeon 6 Performance 6315P processor.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, paired with 16 gigabytes of DDR5 memory and a 480 gigabyte solid-state drive. Plus, it has dual gigabit LAN ports.
So it can physically handle all that administrative network traffic without bottlenecking. I noticed in the specs that it entirely bypasses Windows 2. It runs on a dedicated Linux Ubuntu 24.04 operating system. I'm guessing that's purely for stability?
Spot on.
Because, if you're running a massive sports bar on Super Bowl Sunday, you absolutely cannot have a random Windows background update rebooting your entire video wall in the fourth quarter.
Oh, that would be a total disaster. Yeah, dedicated Linux appliance gives you rock-solid stability. It strips away the bloatware and those unpredictable update cycles.
Right.
The system's primary focus is ensuring its intuitive graphic user interface never falters, even when the network is completely saturated.
But there is a physical reality to packing a Xeon processor and enterprise components into a tiny 1.7-inch chassis, though. I mean, usually when you slide a high-performance server into a rack, you're introducing a massive heat generator that requires, screaming fans to keep the board from melting.
You'd expect it to sound like a jet engine, honestly.
Yeah.
But the power and acoustic engineering here is really surprising. Under a normal load, it only draws about 70 watts of power.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Just 70?
Yep, just 70.
Which means it's barely generating any ambient heat to damage the sensitive networking gear stacked directly above or below it in the rack.
Right. And as for the noise, it emits just 30 to 36 decibels of ambient noise under a normal load.
That's practically a whisper.
Even at startup, when the cooling system kicks into full gear, it maxes out at just 50 decibels.
For the IT professionals actually working in these server rooms, that's a massive quality of life feature. It avoids staff fatigue because the machine just quietly does its job.
Definitely. When you look at the big picture, An MSRP of $6,000, and it's currently listed around $4,800. Makes a lot of sense for an enterprise tool like this.
Yeah, for sure.
You're securing an infinitely scalable AV ecosystem without turning your server closet into a noisy sauna.
It changes how you look at commercial spaces entirely. So next time you're amazed by a perfectly synchronized multi-screen video wall, look past the bright lights and ask yourself, what invisible, silent technological brain is pulling the strings behind the scenes?